morning guys, and welcome back to another Sunday meal prep video. If you have not watched one of my videos before, my name is Jennifer. I am 46 years old. I almost said 42. Ha, I wished. I'm 46 years old. I have been doing WW for a couple of years now and have lost about 72 pounds or so, kind of been maintaining for the past few months. Today is actually November the 7th, right before we're fixing to change over to the new personal points program. So all of the points that I am going to provide in my video today will be based on the WW Blue points because that's what I have at the moment. We shall see what happens whenever I do my meal prep next week. But anywho, mostly my videos are meal prep videos, what I eat in a days, what I eat in a weeks, weekly vlogs, weekend vlogs, clothing hauls, lifestyle type stuff, organizational, all of that stuff. And if that is something that you are interested in, I would love it if you would go ahead and become one of Jennifer's Gems and click that red subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my uploads. I typically upload 3 to 4 times per week, and I have a really great Facebook group that I co-admin with Roy from Recipes with Roy and Bree with Balancing Life with Bree. It's called Finding Our Way. This is the icon to that group, and there is a direct link down in the description box to that Facebook group. It's a great group. I highly recommend that you join that. Anyway, on today's menu, we are going to do taco soup, which I've already put on, which you'll see that clip probably right after this intro. So just my normal taco soup. Along with that, I'm going to make corn muffins because I just love that as a side. The soup itself comes out to 1 point the way that I make it per serving, and then the muffins are 3 points each, or 7 if you have 2. The way that it is calculated on the blue plan. So those are the points for that meal. And then the other one is going to be the Skinnytaste Mexican Adobo Rubbed Pork loins that I've made it one other time on the channel. It's extremely delicious. I can't remember if I cooked it in the air fryer or if Charlie grilled it on the grill. I'm actually going to have to pull my video back up and look at it and see which one we did, because I want to try to replicate it exactly the way I made it that day because it was perfect. It was delicious. We both loved it. And then I'm going to make just some of that seasoned rice in my rice cooker, and then some roasted green beans. And then for dessert, we are going to have pumpkin cheesecake. So super excited about all of those meals today. Hopefully everything turns out wonderful. And yeah, let's just get right into it. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and put this taco soup on before I go get in the shower. We had a bunch of frozen chicken breasts still left in the freezer, so I decided to use some of those. And so Charlie's just going to trim up the other pack whenever he starts his prep. And then just put those back in the freezer. He had to run to Kroger before he does it because if you watch my grocery haul, you saw those green beans were not good. So he's going to exchange those green beans and then pick up a couple of other things that we needed. So I've already got my 3 chicken breasts in here. I just kind of warmed them up in some warm water in the sink for a few minutes just to kind of halfway de-thaw them. They're basically going to cook all day, so they don't have to be completely de-thawed, but I've already put salt and pepper on one side and flipped them, so we're just going to go ahead and salt and pepper the other side as well. And I think that the taco soup is one of the easiest recipes to make personally. I should have already drained and rinsed my black beans, but we'll get it here in a second. Okay, so everything that I'm going to use for the taco soup is going to be, I'm going to use this large can of just original Rotel and 2 cans of drained and rinsed black beans, which I'm fixing to drain and rinse them, get them ready. You need basically a bag of frozen corn, which I found this in the freezer when I was digging through it just to kind of see what I needed to use up. Kroger substituted this huge bag in my grocery order the other day because I ordered like the bag this size, because this 12-ounce bag is really the perfect size to put in there. So I'm just going to use the rest of this and then a little bit of this, and then we'll definitely have some corn left over for the next time. I'm going to use chicken broth. I probably will use this whole container because once I shred the chicken, it will look way too liquidy, but once I shred it, that liquid needs to be in there because it just kind of absorbs it. I'm going to use 1 packet of original taco seasoning and 1 packet of hot and spicy. You could always just use mild or whatever if you don't want it that spicy, but y'all know we like spicy stuff. And then I am going to add ground cumin and chili powder, you know, my favorite duos to use. And I think that is pretty much it. So we've got our chicken seasoned up. We'll go ahead and let me get my cans open. I will be right back and get these beans drained and rinsed. Alright, I am back. I've got my beans here drained and rinsed. I'm going to go ahead and put these in because I don't want to get water everywhere. And then we're going to go ahead and go in with our corn. I'm going to use the rest of this bag. And about that much of that bag. Oh, and one thing, so today is November the 7th, the day before the personal points plan goes into place. So all of the points I'm going to give today are based on the blue plan points, just to point that out. And I probably will say that in my intro as well, which I have not filmed yet because I haven't gotten ready. But just so everybody knows. So this is going to be basically 1 point for the blue plan, because mostly because of these. If you only used one packet, I think it still might be 0 points on the blue plan. But anywho, let's proceed. So we're going to go ahead and add in our full can of Rotel, which is so good. I love me some diced tomatoes and chilies. And then we're going to go ahead and go in with some ground cumin. Again, this is optional. We like it a little extra spicy. And some chili powder. And then we've got our 2 packets of taco seasoning here. So we have 1 original and 1 hot and spicy. Again, modify this to your taste if you don't want spicy. I know a lot of people don't like that much spicy. And then I guess just the chicken broth is left. I'm going to put it in the crock pot on high. I'm probably just going to set it for 8 hours. It won't cook that long. I just don't want it to cut off if I forget about it. Well, not forget about it, but if it's later in the day. I actually have a couple of easy recipes today, so I'm hoping that meal prep doesn't take me forever. I actually have a couple of other videos that I would like to get filmed today, so we shall see if that happens. And just kind of give it a little stir. And that's all there is to it. Easy peasy. And again, going in the crock pot on high. You could probably cook it for like 4 hours and it would be done, because that's about how long it takes for me just to cook the chicken breast. But I don't know if I'll be ready to plate it up in 4 hours, so that's why I'm just going to set it on 8. We shall see. I still have to get a shower, and then I still got a lot of other prepping and stuff to do. And lots of times we will have this meal for our meal tonight, because it'll be like nice and fresh and hot right out of the crock pot. It's delicious. Highly recommend. So that is it on this. I'm going to get out everything that Charlie has to prep and show y'all that, and then I got to get in the shower. Alright, Charlie is back from Kroger. He got the green beans exchanged. He exchanged the 1 big bag for just 2 of the smaller bags. He said all of the big bags look bad, but these do look a lot better. They're not all mushy looking like those other ones are. So there's not really much prep for him to do on these. He will just make sure that the little ends, you know, are good, and snip off any that still have the little stems on them. Then, of course, we have bell peppers. I did get 4 because I'm completely out of my bell peppers at this point, and I always like to have extras for my pizzas and stuff. And then I have a tomato for my sandwiches he will slice. This is the big pack of chicken breast, and like I said, I've used 3 from the freezer. He will just trim all of these up and then individually bag them so that they will be ready to go. One thing that we're going to look into getting is like one of those food saver things to like vacuum seal stuff, so that we can prep up meat like this and have it in the freezer and it stay fresher longer, because we've just been using like the little freezer bags, the little Ziploc bags or whatever. But I think a food saver would be a good investment for us, and then we can, you know, portion things out, and that way I can just take out whatever I need from the freezer whenever we have extras, because we always seem to have extra chicken breasts every week. These are the pork tenderloins that we're going to use. I don't think that Charlie's going to trim anything off of those or not, but I went ahead and got them out. Of course, then he will chop up my cantaloupe and my pineapples. So not a whole lot for him to prep today. Really, trimming the chicken's probably going to take the longest for him. Maybe. I don't know. He doesn't have to chop it up or anything. He just has to trim the fat off of it. And then we just put them whole in the bag in the freezer. But we do like to trim them. I mean, we could just stick that whole pack in the freezer, but then you have to de-thaw it, and then you have to get the fat off of it. I like it better if he trims it first before we freeze it. But now we will roll into Charlie's prep.
That's something, baby, that I can go without, just like a poison in me. You're all that I'm about, loving the highs, don't mind the lows. It's getting out of my control. I want that something, baby, 'cause I can go without. Mama used to tell me love ain't right if it ain't
guys, before I start doing my fruit prep and all of that, I'm going to prep this pork because it needs to sit for about 30 minutes, and then Charlie's going to grill it on the grill. The choices in the recipe are not the air fryer or the grill. It is to put it under the broiler in the oven or grill it. So I pulled up my video from the last time, and Charlie grilled it on the grill, and it was perfect. It says it needs to grill for about 20 to 25 minutes, something like that. So anywho, you don't need very many seasonings, and I am adding one that the recipe does not call for. So the recipe only calls for like a teaspoon of olive oil rubbed on there and some of the adobo seasoning. There's also a recipe if you want to make your own, but I just bought this the last time. And then some kosher salt, which look y'all, I got me some kosher salt. So I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of kosher salt on here. Not too much. The last time I made it, I actually forgot to salt it, which this is a coarse salt. I don't know if they're all coarse, but anywho, I got some. And we're going to just go in with just a little tiny bit of olive oil. It only calls for about like a teaspoon. And I'm just going to kind of rub that on there. And so then it calls for about 3 teaspoons of this. I'm not going to measure it out. I didn't the last time either. I just sprinkled it on. And the reason we decided to add the tulies on there is because once I smelled this, I didn't really think that it smells like it has that much flavor. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know, because we did them both the last time and it turned out kind of perfect. So, oh, this is not the right one.
Which one is it?
The tulies. This one. Sorry, I grabbed the wrong one. This Tuli's Southern Style Seasoning. If you're interested in ordering this, you will have to email the lady that sent it to me. I can leave her email for you down in the description box below. If I forget, then just message me and I will send it to you. But I do love this seasoning. It's Tuli's Southern Style All-Purpose Barbecue Rub and Seasoning, and it really does taste good in like my turkey burgers and everything. So that's why we had just gotten it whenever we made this recipe for the first time. We thought, you know, it'd be really good to put on here as well and give it a little more seasoning. And we were not wrong. It was so good. I'm gonna wash my hands. Alright, so we'll just sprinkle a little bit more salt on there. Not too much. And some more of the adobo seasoning. And then the tulies, and then I'm just going to set it to the side. Charlie's going to cook it here in about a half hour or so on the grill. After this, I'm going to put together my fruit bowls, get those out of the way, and then we will get started on the green beans and the rice, and then we just have to make the muffins and the pumpkin cheesecake. So that's all there is to that. We're just going to set this in the fridge and let it wait until Charlie gets ready to grill it. Alright guys, we are going to throw together our fruit bowls as usual real quick, get them in the fridge, and then get started on the rice and green beans, I think, is what we will do next. Even though Charlie hasn't started cooking the pork yet, but I want to go ahead and get those going.
I was just somebody longing for someone to hold me. It could be anybody, but you chose me somehow. Now I'm crazy, thinking about you all the time, like crazy, knowing you're here by my side. And I was doing fine on my own, but baby, you make me a whole lot better.
Alright, so I have my fruit and yogurt and tomato and diced peppers ready to go in the fridge. I do still have one yogurt left over yet again this week because we did not eat lunch at home yesterday. So I just ate what was still good of my fruit. Some of it was kind of turning, and then I still have one leftover yogurt bowl. But anywho, so I have 7 fresh containers of fruit and then 6 fresh containers of yogurt, but still one in the fridge. And then my tomato and my peppers, of course. So let me put this away, and then we will get started on the rice and green beans. Alright, we are getting ready to put the rice on. I like to use this recipe from Recipe Zaz, and it's just called seasoned rice. I do change it up just a tiny tad. It calls for a cup of chicken broth, which I'm going to use a can of chicken broth. This calls for 1 cup of instant rice. This is really for, let's see, how many servings is this? This is only for 2 servings. So what I'm going to do is 1.5 cups of jasmine rice, which should give us about a cup of cooked rice each. And then half a teaspoon of poultry seasoning. I'm probably just going to put a teaspoon in. Half a teaspoon of butter or margarine. Instead of that, I'm just going to use some of this. I can't believe it's not butter, so that it doesn't add any additional points. And then I did say the poultry seasoning. I have this chicken seasoning, and then just some ground black pepper, and it's really good. The pepper is kind of what gives it the seasoned part, but it's better than having the rice just plain, which is kind of what I've always done. So I just like to cook it in my rice cooker. It's real simple. We're gonna move over here. I love this rice cooker. You can find them on Amazon, but this is one that I bought years ago. I've had it forever. And so I have 1.5 cups of rice already measured out here. Just gonna throw that in. And then for 1.5 cups, we need 2 times that amount in liquid. So we're gonna need 3 cups of liquid. So I'm gonna do a can of chicken broth, which is gonna be nearly 2 cups. And then for the rest, I'm just gonna do water. Okay, so you get almost 2 cups with 1 can of chicken broth. So I'm just gonna top it off with water. So that's 2 cups of liquid. And then I need 1 more cup. And then we're just going to go in with a teaspoon of black pepper, or about a teaspoon. And then we're going to do about a teaspoon of the poultry seasoning as well. And then just a few sprays of this, I can't believe it's not butter spray. And that's it. I'm just going to give it a quick little stir. And then we will let the rice cooker do the rest. So it is cooking. Again, I always turn it to where it doesn't go up under my cabinets, because steam will come out right there. Now let's get the green beans ready. Okay, so for the green beans, first of all, my oven is preheating to 350. And we are just going to use some chili powder, some ground cumin, some garlic salt, salt and pepper, and then I'm going to put some of this Hidden Valley Ranch Fiesta Ranch seasoning on there. Rhett sent me this. It's really tasty. I did order another one in my grocery haul, but I still have about half of this packet left, but that does give it a good little flavor. I'm just going to spray my pan. Probably need to move my phone. And then I'm going to try to spread these out as thin of a layer as I can. And then we're just going to spray the green beans really well. And then we're just going to season them up. So I'm just going to go in with some salt, some pepper, some garlic salt, some ground cumin. Again, the cumin and chili powder is completely optional if you don't want to add that. I mean, anything's optional, to be honest. You can just make anything your own. Season them to your taste. And then chili powder. And then we're going to go in with some of the ranch, Fiesta Ranch. Let me get that open. Alright, that's everything. I'm just going to kind of toss it a little bit and give it one more little spray with the olive oil spray. And just try to make sure they're kind of spread out kind of thin. And then I'm going to bake them for about 30 minutes, I think. And by the time these are done, Charlie should have the pork pretty much done, and we'll be ready to plate up. Alright guys, here is the finished pork that Charlie just pulled off the grill. It's been sitting here for a few minutes. It says to let it rest for at least 5 minutes before slicing it. I'm going to have him slice it up just into some small little slices, and then we will just divide it into the containers. So I'm going to get him in here to get it sliced up, and then we will get it plated up. Alright, I am ready to finally plate up the rice, the pork, and the green beans. So what I'm going to do is put the pork in one of the small sides, put the rice in one of the small sides, and then the green beans in the long end. The pink one's going to be mine because there was 2 pieces of pork, and so I'm going to use the smaller piece for mine and then give Charlie the larger piece. So I like the color coordination, then we know which ones are ours. It's easier to keep up with. So we're just going to go in with about a cup of rice in each one, which should just about fill up one of those little ends just perfectly like that. So I'm going to get the rice in all the containers real quick.
There's no need to complicate things. Let's stick to the basics. We both know what we want. Let's just keep it simple. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. We dance on the same wavelength. This feels like a new beginning. We both know what we want.
Okay, so here are the 2 pieces of pork. This one's going to be Charlie's. I think he cut each one into, what, 12 pieces? So we'll each get 3 pieces in our container. So I'm just going to kind of do mine first. I'm going to kind of do like a middle piece and an end piece. Kind of mix it up a little bit so that I don't have all big or all little pieces in mine. Does that make sense? I know we'll get 4 pieces in each one. So there's mine, and then we'll do the same for Charlie. That was easy enough. Now let's grab the green beans. Here are the green beans. They turned out perfect, nice and flavorful. So I just like to use this long end to put these in because they're all long. And we will just eyeball it and divide these evenly.
Give in, keep yourself thinking. Tonight, let go as you're dreaming. I was feeling down low. You just brought me straight up. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Alright, here is the completed pork with rice and green beans. I will leave the points for my plate here on the screen. I forgot what it is. I know it's 6 points for the rice. I think the pork is 3 or 4 points per serving, and then I think the green beans are either 0 or 1. But I will put a little thing here on the screen for you, but looking delicious. I just licked my fingers after picking up some of that pork. It tastes delicious. What do you think, Charlie?
It's good.
Yeah, very good. Highly recommend this meal. And this is from Skinnytaste. I will have it linked down in the description box below. All right, we are going to make our corn muffins to go along with our taco soup. And I'm going to use 1.5 cups of this Martha White cornmeal mix. This is self-rising, hot rise is what it's called. You can use any self-rising cornmeal. It does not have to be that one. I've used other brands as well, even generic brands. It doesn't matter. I am going to use basically 1.5 cans of cream style corn, but I am going to weigh it out. I want about 21 ounces. That's kind of the way that I've tracked it. And so sometimes I'll just eyeball it. Sometimes I measure it exactly to try to get the 21 ounces. There we go. That's 21.15, so good enough. And then we just need 3 tablespoons of egg whites. And this is such an easy way to make some corn muffins. And if you didn't want to make this many, you could cut it in half. If you needed to make more, then you could use 2 cans of corn and 2 cups of cornmeal mix and, you know, like 4 or 5 tablespoons of egg whites. Different ways to make it, you know, however many you want to make. Oh, and I'm preheating my oven to 400. These will cook for about 15 minutes at 400 degrees. So we're just going to mix that up well, and then we're going to put it in the muffin tin. Okay, so that's mixed pretty well. So we are just going to spray our muffin tin with the baking spray. I do spray it generously because these will kind of stick if you don't. Did y'all see that? I got that all over me. Oh well. We're nearing the end. It's fine. And then I'm just going to use my ice cream scoop, and we're going to scoop it into 12 muffins.
Let's drink up. Your death look like big fun. Come on, let's get it on. Like that Marvin Gaye song. I'm stunning. You love it. Come on, give me something I know that you want it. Come on, give me something. The night is young and so are we. So maybe you should.
Okay, there we go. We're going in for 15 minutes, 400 degrees. All right, guys, here are the corn muffins. Nice and perfectly brown. These are so good, y'all. These are going to be delicious with our taco soup, which I'm getting ready to shred that up here in just a minute. Shred up the chicken and put it back in there. It's done. All right, everyone, I am ready to start on this pumpkin cheesecake. I'm gonna put my recipe up here. I have it on my phone. So we are gonna need 3 eggs, 3 cups of non-fat Greek yogurt, which I have that measured out already right here. I'm just using the Chobani. You can use any brand that you want to. So I'm using 1 box of the cheesecake pudding mix, sugar-free. It calls for half a tablespoon of caramel extract, which I did not have, so I'm just going to use vanilla, which is what I did the last time, and it tasted perfectly fine. 3/4 of a cup of 100% pure pumpkin. So I have that here. I'm going to save the other half. I'll make a batch of my cookies next week or something with that. And then we're going to need 1 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, which I definitely need to try to get some more of that. Hopefully it's not out in the stores. And then 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon as well. We're going to preheat the oven to 350 and just get everything mixed up, and we are going to put it in a pie dish. It's going to have to bake for about 30 minutes. And then it's going to have to let cool for like 15 to 20 minutes before we cover it with plastic wrap and put it in the refrigerator. The last time I made it early so that we could try it that night and like give our review, but then I think it was still too warm, so we still waited till the next day because I was so worried it was going to turn out bad, but it turned out good, so I'm not that worried this time. So I'm just going to be confident that it's going to be good. I'm not going to overcook it. And I cooked it for the 30 minutes the last time, and it was perfect. So let's get started. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is add our 3 eggs. I always add the eggs either first or put them in a separate bowl, because I tend to get shells in there easily. I don't know about y'all, especially when I'm trying to hold 3 in my hand like this. Okay, so I have my 3 eggs in here. We're going to go ahead and add in the pumpkin. We're going to do half a tablespoon of vanilla extract. It calls for caramel if you have that. I should have remembered that and tried to get that. I forgot about it. We're going to do 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. And we're going to go with 1 teaspoon of the pumpkin pie spice. And then it calls for 3 tablespoons of stevia, which I don't use stevia, so I'm just going to use this monk fruit sweetener. I may not even have that much, but I do have some swerve sugar. We'll see if this will make it. I'm running out of my baking stuff, where I've been making all this different stuff. Just a little shy there. Let me grab the swerve. And all of this is 0 points. This is the swerve sugar replacement. Okay, so I added a tablespoon of the swerve since I ran out of the monk fruit sweetener. Charlie. Okay, so we're just going to mix this together, and then we're going to whisk in the yogurt and the sugar-free Jell-O. Look, y'all, I have a real whisk. I know the last time I didn't have, but that carrot whisk that Roy had sent me. I got me a nice Pampered Chef whisk. So now we are going to whisk in the dry pudding and the yogurt until it is mixed completely. Oh, it smells so good. You can smell that pumpkin pie spice. I don't know about y'all, but I love pumpkin. It smells good. It smells just like it did the last time. Okay, I think that is good. We are going to get it in our pie dish, which I'm just using this clear pie dish. I think you could use like a springform pan if you wanted to as well. I'm just going to spray it with my baker's spray. Okay, we have the oven preheated to 350. It's going in for 30 minutes. Okay, y'all, so the taco soup is done. All I have to do is shred up the chicken breast. Honestly, I could just do it while it's still in the pot. But I'm going to take it out and shred it on this plate. If I can get it out, it's so tender. And I'm just going to shred it with 2 forks because it is so tender, it literally just falls apart. all the animals are coming around because they smell the chicken. They are obsessed with, and actually they smell the pork too. Lynn is over here getting mad because she can't have anything. Okay, so here is my chicken breast, and this has been cooking for quite a while today. This will be our dinner tonight because it's nice and hot and fresh. Look at that, it just falls apart. I love cooking chicken in the crock pot. I am going to set a little over to the side for the dogs and cats. Let it cool off. It's very hot. Like it would burn their mouth right now. Okay, so that's shredded up pretty good. We're just going to put it right back in there. And then I'm just going to turn it on low just to keep it warm until we get ready to eat it. Alright, so I have the chicken back in here, and as you can see, it's already starting to absorb up the extra liquid that was in there. That's why I like to go ahead and just use that whole container of chicken broth. So we are just going to put this over here on low, and this will be our dinner tonight. So we'll go ahead and plate up all 6 containers here in just a minute. And I think the pumpkin cheesecake is almost ready. So we're just about ready to wrap this up. Alright everyone, I just got my cheesecake out of the oven. She's still a little jiggly in the middle, but the last time it was that way, and after it set, it was perfect. So I think that's what I did wrong the first time. It was still jiggly, and so I cooked it for a few more minutes, and then it overcooked it and kind of made it curdle or whatever. So hoping this one turns out as good as it did the other time. You will have to watch the weekly vlog though to see. Alright everyone, we have finished up the meal prep for the day. Super excited. It's just 5:30. Seems later than that because the time changed today, so it's already dark outside. It's kind of odd. But we have our 7 containers of fruit and 7 containers of yogurt back there. Here is the Mexican Adobo Rubbed Pork. This is a Skinnytaste recipe. It is so delicious, y'all. The seasoning on it is top notch. Of course, I did add that Otuli seasoning on there because we just love that seasoning overall. The blue containers are Charlie's and the pink are mine. He does have a little bit more rice because even there's always extra rice, it seems like, you know, which I kind of lightly packed mine, and I did add just a tad bit extra just to use some, but I still think I have just about right at a cup on mine, and that's what I'm going to count it as. And then he just got a little bit excess, but his are the blue containers, mine are the pink. And then here we have our taco soup, and this meal is always delicious. Highly recommend it. So easy to make. The crock pot does all the work on that one. And then we would pair it with the corn muffins back there. Those are delicious as well. You know, we make those all the time. We have another pumpkin cheesecake. Smells delicious. Hopefully it is as delicious as it was the last time. We ate the whole one the last time, so I'm hoping that we have another winner on our hands. And then of course I have my eggs and bacon prepped for Monday through Friday. And as I said last week, if you want to see how I make the bacon or the eggs specifically, I cook the bacon in the microwave for about a minute per slice, give or take a little bit. The scrambled eggs and the bacon I always show on my Saturday weekend vlogs. If you want to see how I make those exactly, check those videos out. But overall, I have completed another successful meal prep. Alright everyone, thank you so much for joining me for another Sunday meal prep video. I hope that you enjoyed this one. I hope that you try some of these recipes. I'm sure that y'all have tried most of these. Probably not the pork, but I would highly recommend it. It is delicious. Chef's kiss on that one for sure. It is really good. And of course we love the taco soup. It is that season for chili, taco soup, things like that. So highly recommend these. And I can smell this pumpkin cheesecake from here, and I'm wanting to like take a fork and dig into it, but it is still warm. It's gonna have to sit and cool for quite a while before we can well, we won't be able to eat it until tomorrow. It needs to chill overnight, but it smells delicious. So again, thanks to everyone who makes it all the way to the end, especially my Jennifer's Gems. You know I love y'all, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see y'all in the next video. Mwah.